Where do you start when you've worked with somebody as long as I've worked with Steve, and we've been through a lot of things together? Middle of January, December, end of December, January, coming home from Owensboro, Kentucky. It was Jim and Shirley and Steve and I, and we were loaded up. And why we decided to come on back late, cold night, I don't know. Freezing to death in the back seat. Man, Steve and I were cold. We were both afraid to say anything, so finally we switched, and Jim and Shirley got in the back, Steve and I got in the front and took off driving. Boy, it didn't take long. They found out it was cold in the back seat real quick. Come to find out, the whole bottom floorboard was stuffed with alpha valve catalogs and stuff where the heat wouldn't go into the back seat.
I was a young project manager, and the field crew decided that it would be good to play a joke on me. So they one day complained that it was hot and their tungsten was sticky. Said, well, yeah, we need to get tungsten grease. And I questioned them quite a bit. And the lead man at the time got fairly indignant. He said, look, just call and get us some tungsten grease now, because this tungsten's sticking like crazy. So I thought, who am I going to call? I thought, you know what? Steve Bates, he's always been really nice to me. He'll know. So I'll call Steve Bates. So I called Steve Bates up. Picks up the phone. I said, Steve, I got a question. Is there such a thing as tungsten grease? And he says, well, yeah, why do you ask? And I said, well, the guys here are saying that it's really hot and it's causing their tungsten to stick and they need some tungsten grease. And he goes, well, yeah, hold on a second. I got somebody in my office, hold on a second. Steve could have let me off the hook, because there's no such thing as tungsten grease. He could have had it a little inside joke between he and I, but Steve decided he'd put his phone on speaker and pulled about 4 people in his office during the time that I was on hold. So he gets back on, he goes, okay, Brian, now what you said, how much, what do you need? I said, I need tungsten grease. Okay, well, how many tubes do you need? And he went on and on, and I had no idea.
One of the great things about working with Steve is he reminds me of the slogan from the radio station, The Wind, in town. And their slogan is positive, encouraging, and uplifting. And when I think of Steve, that's him in a nutshell. Except for one example that I can think of. When I turned 30, I walked into my office and there was a sign that said, 30's not old if you're a tree. And that was compliments of Steve.
Well, this is not funny. So I would just appreciate it if everyone would not laugh. We were working on a field job down in Carthage, and this was probably in 1984, late 1984, at Schreiber Foods. And Steve and I were trying to get some hangers welded underneath a tank. And I grabbed one of the hangers to start to do something with it. Turns out that just before I grabbed it, with no glove on, Steve had just finished welding that hanger. It had just been orange seconds before I touched it. That's the worst I've ever burned myself, man.
He had all the shop guys during break, and at this point was going to play a prank on the front receptionist. He got on the phone, called through the front number or whatever, and asked for a gentleman that was in the shop. And of course she's new, didn't know everybody's name yet, and she said over the intercom, is Deber Slots, could you call the front desk? And once they said Deber Slots, everybody in the whole shop just erupted, even people in the office that knew, because that had to be a prank, and you could hear Steve laughing throughout the whole building.
I met Steve Bates in probably 98 or 99, we just moved into the building, and I was always amazed at how great a craftsman he was. Dale Cook still has a hammer in his toolbox that Steve had put together, and it's just amazing the work that he could do.
He could make it happen, yeah. We just needed somebody to do some welding. He said he could do it. I said, okay, let's try. He put his hood on and been welding ever since.
Well, he's been in sales now for several years, but he did just tackle the welding and became a welder out of his own tenacity.
The thing that really amazes me is his ability to adapt and change. He left fabrication, came in and learned CAD and started selling panels. So who better to price a panel than someone that has built a panel?
Yeah, Steve has always been to me, one of the examples of what Mark means when he says at the end of most of his meetings, take care of customers and take care of each other, because he is just such a pleasure to work with and always has a positive outlook and attitude towards everything.
Well, I know that one of his big goals for retirement was to be able to be more available to do mission work and to be very involved with his church. And he and Mona are going to be able to bless a lot of people.
I've seen what the Lord has done in your life, and it's been an awesome thing to watch. And so I'm excited what you and Mona have been able to do and are going to do now that you're retiring in the service of the Lord. So I'm excited about that, and I am planning on you coming back and helping us. Maybe you can come in and do some training for us someday or something, but I'm sure you'll be back because the good ones always come back.
You know, Steve has a lot of things little phrases that he says a lot, such as finer than a frog hair, or smarter than a circus horse, or even sharper than a bowling ball.
You know, you can either brighten up a room or darken it when you come in, and I always think of him as somebody that just walk into the room, it brightens it and makes it a happier, better place.
And Steve Bates is a great example of one of those individuals who comes to work every day, works hard, takes care of the people around him, and takes care of customers.
So I'd like to see Steve come back when Mona gets sick and tired of him hanging out around the house.
My heart goes out to Steve for retiring. He's done a huge, tremendous amount of service, not only to me, but for CSI. That being said, I wish you the best, Steve. Happy retirement and all the best wishes for you.
I learned a lot from that, learned a lot from Steve, and I will miss him. So I wish him all the very best. God bless.
And we've seen him grow tremendously. We're just honored to be part of his life. We really are.
It has been a privilege and an honor to work with Steve, and I wish him the best of luck, him and Mona, in his retirement. I wish him the best of luck as he goes from here on down, doing what they enjoy to do and living the life that God wants him to live.
And Steve, I think I can speak for a lot of people at CSI in thanking you for being an example of someone that people love to see at work every day. Thank you for caring about us, for caring about people around you, for caring about customers. Thank you for going outside your comfort zone and trying to learn and grow every day you've been here, and honoring the efforts of people around you with your own efforts. Thank you for being a part of CSI, and we wish you the very best.